This is a response to a piece in the Ink by Anand Giridharadas, most marvelous, best guy right now out there to do with progressivism and progress and human rights, etc., etc. However, his notion is that progress has been so swift in the last 100 or so years, as per human history, that people naturally are a little reluctant or a little hesitant to take the full steps, and which is his explanation for the sort of recalcitrance of, shall we say, the right wing to the progress that we are making racially, sexually, etc. wise. However, I cannot find, so let's imagine, Karl Marx said that socialism lives in our memory, that it would be a return to an arrangement we lived in for thousands of years, that capitalism is a, quote, progress or invention of a relatively short sprint in humanity's long race. And it does coincide with monotheism and the bedrock assumptions of patriarchy made into nature, or should I say, hammered into nature. The notion that women have more rights than they've had in 50,000 years could be, I think should be, amended to the 3,000 years we arrogantly call history. I'm not thinking everything was groovy in the hunter-gatherer world, but I don't think a world of Harvey Weinsteins could have survived even into the Bronze Age. We invented Weinsteins, just as we invented Henry VIII, thank you, Shakespeare, and belatedly dethroned them, or scapegoated them, depending on what we think progress is. It is strange and worth investigating that believers would have me believe that God, the One, invented goodness. That almost all our history books in the West, after we discounted Herodotus, etc., as fibbers, were written by monotheists with a great zeal for revisionism, based on exactly that belief. However could goodness exist before the sons of Abraham invented its source? You have to read the bloody book in order to be good. So the past is full of evil out of which we have progressed, says no one being honest about Palestine, as if we have progressed to a better state than we have ever been before by adhering to our various myths and loving our various single gods. I was in Ukraine last year. Before then, I was in Poland, monocultures and deeply Christian, and war notwithstanding, it was a revelation. I had a wonderful time, wonderful people. For the first time, however, in my life, I truly loved America, not just theoretically, truly missed it, and not for its fibs, but for its sheer friendliness and openness. Progress is for sure, progress. That had almost nothing in my mind to do with these wretched founders or their thinking. They were 18th century, mostly well-to-do European men bent on colonizing a, quote, land without a people, and the magic papers reflect exactly that. Sorry, real estate magnates, with a very clever mission statement, granted, that is now revered like some lost Bible text. The Americas were bound to be polycultural because of European greed and indigenous persistence, despite Europe's best efforts to get rid of them. From Jefferson to Lincoln, the solution to slavery was to pack Africans off to some Palestine and maintain a nation of white people. It was. Stop lying to yourself. It did not happen, few, and I'd suggest that despite the struggles, what I rediscovered on returning from monocultural Europe is due to the eternal human goodness of humanity. Are there people here and in London making a fuss about the multicultural nature of our states? Yes, they always did. Always did. Douglas Murray, so it's not progress or even regression. They always did. Douglas Murray would charge me with wanting to deny all the heroes and deeds of the West, and I don't. I love Shakespeare and Mozart as much as the rest, but they're not the whole story. Shakespeare is one of the greatest propagandists to ever lift quill, and Mozart spoke to one community, not mine. I am Celt, you see. In America's middle, where they will choose Trump, I have had long dinners and great conversations with Mormons and truck drivers. They seem no more resistant to change than the average Ivy League professor. Admit it, in truth, less so. The world right now is pretty horrible. Negotiations were going on apace before our Democratic Democrat nixed them in Kiev. Maybe after 20 years of defeat, the US has decided to proxy its enemies, to fight to the last Ukrainian. This is not progress. 61% of Americans want a ceasefire in Gaza. 56% want a woman to have a right to choose. So, where is the democracy? When once more the common sense and goodness lies not in our gods or God-fearing leaders, but in ourselves, dear Brutus.